it's possible to not give up Jalen and sign a max player in 2 years, right?
Yes, or depending on what you do this summer, you could technically do it next summer when
So
Beal has the ability to opt out. So it would involve
you don't
no
re-sign
extensions.
Marcus.
You
You
don't
don't
re-sign
re-sign
Marcus.
Marcus.
You don't extend Robb.
You trade Evan Fournier after you sign.
Exactly. You trade Evan or you sign him to like a 1-and-1 with an option or something like that, depending. Which I think honestly could be in play depending on what his market is.
Sure.
Since there aren't a lot of teams with cap space out there. And yeah, and then you already traded away that first round pick, so you don't have to worry about having extra money in the books there. And then you have other small salaries on the roster that you should be able to keep and fit him in, or just be easily movable. So
that's what I'm hoping for. That this is step one, and down the line, that all happening, and Bradley Beal, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum all wearing green.
So you feel like that's plan A at this point, if you're Brad Stevens, looking at where you want to get to in a year right now, like is that the path you want to get to first and foremost?
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable. I have to think about it a little bit more before I declare it plan A, but it is a plan, whether it's A, B, or C, that I will be pretty comfortable with and pretty content with, considering where the Celtics are right now. I think if you can get to that plane in the space-time continuum, that's a victory for Brad Stevens in his first, season or two in the lead chair.
Well, here's my question for you on that front then. Would you rather go after Beal with trade assets this year, assuming again he's pulling the Anthony Davis power play and saying, unless you're the Celtics or a team that doesn't have a lot to trade for me, don't trade for me. You could get him. You're gonna have to give a lot of draft picks to get him, and Al Horford matching salary and a bunch of other solid stuff. But then you might be able to keep some other stuff around him in terms of your supporting cast in that scenario. Or would you rather keep the picks and have that cap slot open in free agency, knowing that you're going to lose more of your role players to go that route?
Yeah, and I guess that's one sort of, I don't want to say a downside, but one of the interesting caveats of the Celtics not having 40s is a pick, like you said. Plenty of good players have been drafted. Not exactly a real draft pick. It's not going to be you're not going to be able to.
You could sell that for $4 million. That's easy cash in that pick.
We're not going to learn much about Brad Stevens' drafting skills. I think from this summer. Either way, even if he somehow hits it out of the park, you need a bigger sample size, and especially one of those like in the mid-teens, right? That's a hard draft pick, because I think
Brad Stevens has seen too many. Brad Stevens has seen too many of those guys the last few years. I think that was the impression I got of that being his first move.
Right, and it was a great move. You have too much on your plate. Just take the draft out of play. Just like one less thing to worry about.
I didn't think about that.
But yeah, so I'm thinking like, because when you get those three together, if you can get those three together, like that, you're in a situation where you need to find some cheap young talent to fill in the gaps. Yes. And you would get that by getting lucky or making a few good draft picks. Like that would be a place to do it. So if you're giving away all those draft picks, it's a bit slim pickings. But then you're also in a situation where those veterans are going to be wanting a piece of that team. People can say what they want about Boston, but if you can if you're in a position to potentially win a title, people forget about anything real fast. Like you go to like PJ Tucker goes to Milwaukee, like granted that wasn't his decision, but it won't be an issue. You'll be able to find some veterans to fill in those gaps. I guess it would be better if you have some homegrown talent, because then you can be in a situation where the Celtics were not so long ago, where like you're contending and rebuilding at the same time potentially. Right. Maybe we'll never see that again. It was such a sort of a perfect storm of a whole bunch of things, but yeah, I'd give up the picks, I think.
Yeah,
as I've spoken in circles for a little bit.
It's a tough pick. I don't think
that's the move.
Yeah, I don't think it's an obvious choice, but I do think that ultimately, when you're talking about your window, and Beal is not, he's not old, but he's 28, 29. So you want to, that prime is not going to last forever for him. So if you don't have the necessary secondary pieces around him, that might not be enough. And so it is, but it is funny. You know, we heard from Beal yesterday as well, with Team USA along with Tatum. And I just appreciated Beal's response when he was just asked about, you know, our guys being together at Team USA, are guys going to talk about teaming up in the future? Like, what do you think? And he's like, and he starts his quote by saying, I don't know, probably a lot. Like, which is, and then he goes on to say, you know, the focus is on the gold medal and it depends on things, but it's, you know, there's nothing to hide here anymore for him. This is like, I think his future is clear. Damian Lillard's the other like wild card. We'll talk about him in a second, and a couple other guys who are playing on this team. I mean, you probably, how bummed is Kevin Love that, you know, Kemba Walker got traded to OKC instead of, you know, Cleveland for the to get him, to rescue him from there after being tried to move for years and years. But it's
yeah, but they'll have plenty of time to talk about everything. These guys are going to be spending a lot of time with each other for the next few months, so you can focus all you want on the gold medal. There's going to be plenty of time to talk about what are we going to do. You know, what's our potential futures together. Do we want to have a future together? And again, that's when you're actually out there playing in a non-all-star game, right? When you're actually competing, and we can say the highest level because some of these teams are pretty damn good around the world. On the same squad, you can really grow to enjoy playing alongside someone. And for better or worse, I think it's better. The players have so much of the power in this league that if they find some basketball partners that they want to spend the rest of their careers with, go for it, you know, make it happen. And we obviously know about Tatum and Beal and what they've meant to each other over the years, and to have a chance to do that together in Japan. I think it's going to be hard for them to do that and not to continue to come home and not continue thinking about the potential to actually play together.
Hi guys, Cedric Maxwell here. I want to take a minute to tell you about Marigold Medical. I'm used to keeping my body in great shape, but with arthritis, even the most simple everyday tasks became unbearable. As soon as I called Marigold Medical, I knew I was in good hands. No drugs, no surgery, just an experienced team of caring professionals that wanted to get me back to doing the things I love. Make the call to Marigold Medical and get back to pain-free life.